direction.
Okay. We're going to load a second bike, and what we need to do first is we always load, if there's only one bike, we load it on the rack. They're called carriers. The rack carrier. We always load it closest to the van. This time I'm going to move it in a little bit more because I'm going to load a second bike. He's pushed around a bit. Now, loading a second bike is typically fairly easy, but this is a small bike. So it has to be, it's going to show us two things. Not all bikes can be loaded the same way. Oh shoot, this is... Oh yeah, okay. Not all bikes can be loaded the same way, especially if it's a small frame. But nonetheless, open the carrier. Open the carrier. This time we're going to be using the two green bungees up top. Okay. Handlebars. The two bikes point in the opposite direction. Okay, so the handlebars don't bump into each other. Okay, I'm going to get the bike in the same way. This bike, since it's small, actually has to fit not under here, like most bikes, has to fit on the rear, not the top two. And then, this rack is very small. It's ridiculously small. Okay. Then the second carrier goes under the top tube. But if you can see, if I tried to, this one will not quite fit. This rack is particularly short, Debbie, the arms, so I'm having trouble loading too. Oh, maybe we can get this.
Your wheels hooked together.
Let me see if I can push this in a little bit more.
You've got a lot more room to go.
It's the chain ring too. Okay. We want to make sure pedals won't whack each other. Okay. Now you can see I have to kind of fit it around the handlebars and fit the handlebar. This part, loading a second bike, can be a bit of a challenge, but because we'll have longer arms on tour, it'll be much easier. Right now I have Larry's wheel stuck in my, Larry's pedal stuck in my wheel. A rider would not be keen on that, so we'd somehow have to adjust that. Okay. Okay. So that's a little bit better. This is not the perfect bike setup, but gives you the idea. Okay, so you can see the seat has nestled, the bag has nestled and gotten inside and around the handlebar. The same thing here. The handlebar's whacking, pushing against the bag, that's okay. Sometimes we'll take riders' bags off if it's just too hard to load. Now we go for the green bungee. And the green bungees actually are attached in the same way each time. We always attach to a bar. When we take a green bungee off, we hook it onto the bar. We hold it, drop it, grab it, and back over. Okay, and there are two of these. And if you can remember to do both in this direction, it just makes it easier because they're shorter bungees, it's a little tighter. So rather than doing this and then going around and trying to grab it, and I'm trying to get it, There's a lot of moving parts on these small green ones. The blue, they're easier to hook to hook. So the green ones, we do it like this. The green goes, hooks onto the bar. We get to control it, drop it, grab it from underneath, and release.
All right.
Okay. You'll find your own way, but if you, again, over the years, Rick has done this, Pat has done this, and if we all do it the same way, we all know where to grab for the hooks and things like that.
So you just remember to hook it onto the bar.
Hook it bar to bar. Yeah. And the blue ones go hook to hook, even when they're on the vans. Okay. So, taking it off. It's just easier to control the bungee, these short green bungees. Okay. So, back here, the same thing. I'm not going to stretch the heck out of this rubber strap, just enough to hold it in place. and I would have a second one there. This one, we can go through the wheel. The second bike is always a little trickier because every bike is slightly different. But we should never hook a bungee loop to any part of a bike at all. Okay? A hook should always go to a solid surface, meaning the rack.
The rack.
And wherever you can get the hook attached is where you can get the hook attached. Okay? It's just the second one you have to be a little more creative, but just remember, go to the rack bar. Okay? Through the front wheel, I'm going to find my way to the rack. Okay, so I've got the wheel, and I'm going to go the second way, and I'm going to grab that rack.
So you're just going around the second bike frame through the first bike.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're doing the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you were really concerned about something, you can put another green bungee across the top. You can bungee from here. You can do something as simple as, if you're really concerned about on a super windy day, and bungee to the rack. That's not the perfect bungee, but, and then we would have a second bungee, second green bungee to play with.
A little more latitude with the second.
Yes, yeah, because the second bikes, you never know quite how they're going to fit. And if you had a third bike, it gets even trickier. But the main thing is getting that first bike bungeed the same way every time.
Okay.
And then from there, you can be a little more creative. But indeed, my favorite thing is going from rack, from one of the rack bars, the bike rack itself, pulling. And when I work with bungees, I'll hold tension on one end so the other end is loose, and I will go to the bar. Yeah, yeah, okay. So now we're taking bungees off. Okay, this is what I do. You look really cool when you do this part too. This is what I do.
Oh,
Looks
let me get
stupid,
a
but
good- okay.
it looks ridiculous. But then I don't have to worry about the bungees, getting them on while the bikes are there.
You're not throwing them on
You
the
look like the
ground?
bike
Yeah.
doctor.
The bike doctor.
Yeah.
And stethoscope. Okay. Okay. Loop comes off. Loop comes off. Grab the fork, and I'm grabbing the seat tube. Same thing. And I'm going down. Okay. Then you set the bike someplace handy dandy. Post row. A bike is meant to be leaned almost straight up and down. Like so. 2 points of contact are best. We don't lean bikes like that. We don't lean bikes like that because they do that. Okay, so leaning a bike, once you get a straight on shot, it's almost straight up and down. Straight up and down this way because bikes like to ride straight up and down. Okay, second bungee. Unhook the blue, this one blue, release it, and just let it hang. Okay? Same thing. Unhook the bungee, release with control, let it drop. Unhook, unhook. This cable's in the way, so that's okay. Grab the fork, grab here, pull it off, rest it on the bar if you need to get things adjusted, pull it off. I'm going to set this bike down over here. Same deal. Bike gets positioned straight up and down. If it's windy, it's less likely to blow away. Okay, so when we're finished, we have our customers all squared away. We're going to close the rack back up so that it's ready for the next set of bikes. Okay. Okay. Now the blue, again, loop once over, come up and over again, and hook. It's not super tight. This would be the same thing. Well, maybe I can. Pretend this fits perfectly. Okay. I'm gonna take my green one, put it back on the bar. I'm gonna hold it, drop it, grab it, and back to the bar. Okay. That is it.
Tracy, is this a good time to mention that we never lean the bikes against the van?
Yes, we do not lean the bikes against the van, and there are two reasons for that. One, the most important, is if there were 3 bikes against the side of the van, a bike against the front, if there was an emergency, I'd be yelling to get the bikes off the van. It would take an extra second of time. Sometimes seconds count. We also serve food out of the side of the vans. If you have to keep moving bikes, it doesn't look good. In terms of marketing and cleanliness, the van looks cleaner. It is our sag stop feeding zone, and also, just scratches on the vans and things like that. We've even had people tuck their rear wheel into. I'm not gonna be able to do it, but
Into the wheel well.
Yeah, in the wheel well.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, and it stands straight up and down, and it looks really cool, but we don't do it.
Not cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Paula, that's a good point. Anything else you can think of, Paula?
Not right now.
Okay. So let's do loading the van.
Cut.